payment processors, at least in part, control our entertainment now. They are able to tell certain platforms what content they can and cannot host. And as gamers, we don't have very many ways to fight back against this situation happening. You either do not purchase certain games, and that means you're basically giving up your entertainment in general, or you take to social media. And we know that companies don't love to listen to us, but we are actually hearing that we are making some kind of progress because apparently Visa and Mastercard are getting overwhelmed by gamer fury. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, there are certain ways that gamers can discuss how unhappy they are. It's a big reason why I have this channel, because I want to talk about issues that pertain to our entertainment, and I want to try to stand up for customers when so many companies do not want to listen to us. But when it comes to payment processors, it is very hard to get them to listen, though apparently gamers are sending mass emails and phone calls to major payment processors in protest over the Steam and itch.io situation, which is good. It says, in the wake of storefronts like Steam and Itch curbing the sale of adult games, irate fans have started an organized campaign against the payment processors that they believe are responsible for the crackdown. They are responsible for the crackdown. It's not that we've just come up with this conspiracy theory and that we believe it's this certain situation. The platforms themselves, like Steam and also itch.io, it admitted that it is because you have Collective Shout, the feminist organization, who went to the payment processors. They literally had just admitted that because they were ignored by Steam, they went there. I mean, this was their statement yesterday. I did another video on it. It will be linked down below. They said, we raised our objections to R&I games on Steam for months and they ignored us. We approached payment processors because Steam did not respond to us. So, because Steam didn't bend the knee and instantly cave into their outrage, actually a W for Steam, they went a step further and brought it to payment processors. That is the reason why we are in this situation. And I don't think that it's just because of Collective Shout. I think that payment processors were going to do this regardless of Collective Shout complaining or not. It's just that now it's a very easy kind of target to give upset gamers. At this point, judging by everything happening in the UK and also politicians talking about potentially enacting child safety measures for the internet, even in the United States, yeah, this was all very clearly coordinated and this was going to happen regardless. But it says, while the movement is still in its early stages, people are mobilizing with an eye toward overwhelming communication lines at companies like Visa and Mastercard in a way that will make the concern impossible to ignore. And I think that this is fantastic. If you are a disgruntled customer, there are ways for you to voice how unhappy you are. It's why I've put up so many videos on this channel, because I want to highlight issues that gamers have. And there are, of course, issues that I have too, right? On this channel, I've streamed hundreds upon hundreds of games that most of them would ultimately be censored or banned if there is a content crackdown across the world, right? Cyberpunks, Stellar Blades, Wu Changs. I mean, the list goes on and on. People are urging one another to get into contact with Visa and Mastercard through emails and phone calls. Visa and Mastercard have become the targets of interest because of the affected storefronts, both saying that their decisions around adult games were motivated by the danger of losing the ability to use major payment processors while selling games. In a now deleted post on the Steam subreddit with over 17,000 upvotes, commenters say that customer service representatives for both payment processors seem to already be aware of the problem. Yeah. And that doesn't matter. You should still call, you should still email, you should still post on X, because the more the backlash that they face, the more likely they are to actually listen to us. Sometimes the representatives will say they've gotten multiple calls on the subject of adult game censorship, but that they can't really do anything about it. The folks applying pressure know that someone in a call center has limited power in a scenario like this one. Typically, agents are equipped to handle standard customer issues like payment fraud or credit card loss, but there are certain 10 lines that you can call and that you can complain to. I know Savvy had posted this thread and it will be linked down below, but by law, financial institutions like Visa and Mastercard must have to have a hotline for integrity, ethics, and compliance complaints. The trend and concerns are then raised and delivered to the board of directors and become available to customers and shareholders. Since what Visa and Mastercard are doing is unethical, we must report it to these hotlines. These are the hotlines that you should be contacting. These are the hotlines that you should be looking into. This is probably the avenue that is going to lead to the most success. I mean, I don't really know, obviously, but regardless of whichever hotline you call or whatever avenue you contact them through, of course, be as respectful as possible, because ultimately these aren't the people that are making these decisions. It's the people that are part of the board of directors and at the top of the food chain, bending the knee to a foreign extremist group that is weaponizing their vague toss to censor lawfully approved content is unethical and completely displaces the integrity of the system. They are now operating as a moral police, despite all the content they have wanted censored is legal, which of course is very true and a very massive problem. Emails can be ignored, but a very, very long queue making it near impossible for other clients to get in will help a lot as well, reads the top comment on the Reddit thread. In the same thread, people say that they're hanging on to the call even if the operator says that they'll experience multi-hour wait times, presumably caused by similar calls gunking up the lines. Beyond the stubbornness factor, the tactic is motivated by the knowledge that most customer service systems will put people who opt for callbacks in a lower priority queue, and as anyone who opts in likely doesn't have an emergency going on. So yeah, I mean, there are certainly ways to voice how unhappy you are. And of course, people are also using emails to voice their concerns directly to the executives at both Visa and Mastercard. Payment processors that activist group Collective Shout called out by name in their open letter, requesting that adult games get pulled. And there are some threads about this over on X, and lots of people saying, good, this is what we need to do. Good, that momentum needs to continue until they are educated that they need to stay out of stopping people from buying products that they want. As long as a game is properly rated, it should be available for sale. That is my opinion. That has always been my opinion and will always be my opinion. Even though I personally do not care about the sex simulator games themselves, they still should have a right to exist. The developers should still have the right to be able to create them if that is the content that they want to create and it is adult content made for adults. If it's rated, that's fine. Never underestimate a gamer. Let's up those numbers. Do not relent, brother. So I'll definitely be keeping my eye on the situation. But of course, right now, Valve and itch.io are facing some major backlash. Collective Shout has actually locked down their social media because they realized that they are going to be hated by basically everybody at this point. I mean, even Anita Sarkeesian, one of the women behind Gamergate 1, is saying that this situation is out of hand and that certain pornographic content shouldn't be censored. Now, all of the journalists and the feminists that are talking about the situation have their own agenda. They don't actually care about protecting gamers. They don't actually care about video games. They simply care about being able to continue to make money off of this industry. But they hate Collective Shout because Collective Shout is a, as they would call it, turf organization, like J.K. Rowling, right? They believe men are men and women are women, and they defend the LGB, but not the TQ plus IA. So they want to stand against this organization because this organization doesn't stand for every little thing that they stand for. So yeah, I mean, right now, Visa and MasterCard are apparently getting overwhelmed by gamer fury over this censorship, and you'll love to see it. You'll love to see people being so vocal and bringing so much attention to a situation that they feel so passionately about. And again, share this video, go over to Savvy's post, Pyronation's post, check out your favorite YouTubers' videos on the topic, like them, share them, get as much attention on them as possible, because the more people are talking about this, the more likely we are to find success. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.